when you first tried to come after Trump, Jack Smith, he tried to tell you as clear as day to leave it alone.
I don't want to talk about anything. It's dead. Leave it, let it lie. I'm not talking about that shit no more.
But oh no, you just had to keep on going. Now that he has the presidency, you might as well
get your shit, and get out.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the channel Model Renaissance Man. I am Ty Smith, and I appreciate you guys all being here. Make sure that you are following me on all the platforms you see up here and down here, and hitting this like button right here is how my content can consistently be recommended to you. Don't forget that if you are subscribing to the channel, at the end, that bell notification, click that and make sure it's set to all notifications. That way, when I post a video, you will be informed on it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about this because these have been some of the biggest things that have been coming at Trump, and this is regarding Fani and Jack Smith. Everybody know that these cases right from the jump. Well, not everybody. Let me not generalize all of us. Most people who pay close attention to these things knew right from the jump that this was nothing more than the Justice Department being used to go after their political opponents, making us look like a third world country. We knew that a lot of these allegations against President Trump was nothing more than a whole bunch of made up bull crap, that they were trying to do everything that they can to keep this man out of office. They tried to go after his money. They tried to go after his wife. Yes, they did. They tried to go after his family by prosecuting his sons for these fake little things they claimed that their children did. They tried to go after Trump too by trying to make him miss Melania's birthday and his son's graduation from high school. So they tried to go after his pockets. Then they tried to go after his life. Then they tried to go after us that support him, calling us Nazis, calling us garbage. We ain't black if we voted for Trump. Well, are we black enough now, Biden? Are we black enough? Yeah. Now, it's interesting because now that Trump has won this presidency, oh, boy, it's not looking good for you, Jack Smith. You might as well get ready to just hang it up. And don't worry, I'm going to be doing a video on you too, Letitia James. You getting yours too.
Trump's former AG, Bill Barr, is saying all prosecutors should dismiss their cases against the president-elect. Listen.
I think the president really is going to have any legal problems going forward. These cases are not going to go forward, neither the federal cases nor the state cases, against the president. So I think it's really a question of how these governments, the federal government, the Justice Department, is going to dismount from the limb it's gotten itself out on.
Katie Cherkasky is a constitutional law attorney, former federal prosecutor, joins me now. Chanley did a really good synopsis of what's going on. Let's start with the Fed cases. We have documents. We have election interference. Chanley mentioned that DOJ longstanding policy, a sitting president cannot be prosecuted. That phrase, wind down Jack Smith's case. Describe what a wind down of Jack Smith's cases looks like.
Well, I think big picture here, if you haven't been able to convict someone in the court of public opinion, there's really no legitimate way you can convict them in a court of law. And every prosecutor has discretion about what cases they bring forward. These cases, we've called them lawfare, and that's because they're cases that have stretched the bounds of any prior precedent. They're never before seen interpretations of criminal law. So in terms of winding down these cases, they essentially can dismiss them really at any time, or obviously when Donald Trump takes office, he will dismiss the cases and summarily fire Jack Smith. So there's many different ways that the cases could end. They're not practically going to trial anytime soon, even if Trump had lost. But at this point, I do agree that they need to be concluded.
So the takeaway on the Fed cases, they're done, finito, over. Then there is the New York State Court case. All focus now goes there. This is the Stormy Daniels case. He's got sentencing less than 3 weeks from now. What happens there?
Well, that case also is complicated because of the Supreme Court's ruling regarding immunity. So essentially, there is sentencing scheduled, but before that can even proceed, Judge Merchan is expected to rule on whether that case actually is tainted by the immunity ruling, meaning that they allowed in inadmissible evidence and that the case would essentially have to be reversed and go back to trial, or ultimately go back up to the Supreme Court to determine whether the immunity ruling impacted it. So for all intents and purposes, again, that case could also be dismissed, but it doesn't have to be. If there is any adverse ruling to President Trump, it's immediately appealable, meaning that if Judge Merchan says the immunity case does not end that case summarily, that would be essentially appealed anyway. And then, of course, I guess he could sentence him at some point to jail time, again, something that would be immediately appealable and probably stayed pending a decision by the higher court. So for all practical purposes, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. The question is how far these people will continue to push these cases.
There's also the logic of all this. You find me the NYPD officer, Department of Corrections officer, or New York State Police that's going to physically put Donald Trump in handcuffs. There are 0 of them. Not one of them is going to do it because they know the ramifications to that would be massive. So I think that's another logic aspect of this that we need to pay attention to. Let's sit down to Georgia, the Georgia election interference case. Is this thing dead too?
Well, of course, with state cases, the president doesn't have the right to pardon themselves or to have their attorney general essentially end those cases. But the Georgia case, again, has so many significant legal issues that are still up on appeal that even if Trump had lost, that case would still not be heading to trial anytime soon. So I think that the case still has a chance to be overturned essentially by the appellate courts. But even if it's not, it eventually will have significant problems getting reviewed by the Supreme Court anyway. So it won't proceed while he's in office. For all intents and purposes, it is also basically dead in the water.
I want you to write a headline for this entire segment. Is lawfare dead?
Well, I would hope so. I think that it spectacularly failed. And when we talk about lawfare, again, we're talking about the use of the legal system against a political opponent. Hypocritically, the Democrats have claimed Trump was going to be doing that. They've been doing that for years against him, and it blew up right in their faces.
Katie Cherkesky, great insight. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Y'all see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Well, the only reason why Trump is not going to get in trouble is that you can't. No, it was already shams from the beginning. You can try to use the excuse of saying the only reason why Trump is not going to have anything happen to him is because he's a sitting president and he got the Supreme Court to get this go. No. That's what y'all don't understand. Trump did some things that a lot of you don't understand. He absolutely 100% used the Constitution, used the wording to be able to surpass what this crooked system tried to do. And it's kind of scary because it showed me that a lot of people who have their degrees in law, you specialize in one thing. For example, orthopedics, right? I specialize in orthopedic sports medicine, right? But if someone comes to me talking about things endocrine wise or integumentary, anything like that, nephrology, if you go into things like that, I'm not a specialist in that. That's why when it comes to medicine, they branch people off in different things because they specialize in a particular thing. The reason I'm saying that is this. You have people that are lawyers, civil, criminal justice, car accidents, Constitution. You got someone specializing in that too. So what we did not know, and what a lot of us didn't know, is that lawyers came along like, hey, they can't do this because according to the Constitution, it says this right here. And not only that, for some of you say the only reason why he did it, he gets immunity. Because, so he exercising his right? He exercising what the Constitution says? And y'all mad at him for that? Now, understand this too. You do know that had they had let this go through on Trump, that means they would have had to gone after Biden, after Bill Clinton, after Barack Obama, after Bush, or anybody that committed certain type of crimes that kept them immune. All of them were getting ready to get it in. Even living presidents right now, they would have went after all of them. See what I'm saying? But the only difference is, what is it that y'all claiming that Trump did? He what? And I'm still waiting on them to sit there and tell me about Joe Biden with that mind thing he had going on that they covered up for him. But that's sort of another story because I'm going to hit on it too. Nancy Pelosi, who claims that Donald Trump is deteriorating mentally. I cannot wait to show y'all that story on that. Anyway, let me know what you guys all think. Aren't y'all loving these victorious victories that are coming? He's just knocking them down one by one. And Letitia James, you are next. Let me know what y'all think by putting in the comments below after this video. And don't forget to do what y'all see in that cloud right there. The next video that I will be doing in chronological order is going to be up here. Things that I do as a variety on this channel will be right here. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, I pray every last one of you guys are in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.